I'm so excited for Courage Molina to be in the building today. Courage Molina is everyone's favorite Bible teacher. It is no surprise that her life's work is to help purpose-driven women to build extraordinary faith so that they can courageously level up in business and in life, build wealth, and leave a legacy of impact. She's an author, award-winning podcast host, coach, and Bible teacher. I'm just excited for you guys to learn more about her. So let's just jump right into this conversation.
Wow, that was so awesome to be able to hear all this goodness about Courage in the bio. But we have some good news for you because Courage is here in the house.
In the building.
Yeah, she's not across the country right now. She is back from traveling. We're excited that she's here, so we cannot wait to introduce you to Miss Courage Molina. What's up, girl?
Hey, I am so glad to be here. So excited to finally, be like a real guest on the A&O show and not like a fill-in when you guys, need like a backup or something. So it's great to be like on the list. Mm-hmm. Took a lot of trying to get up that hill.
Yeah, I'm glad our people talked because that's the thing whenever you're so busy that, your people talk to our people, we get it worked out. We're like, yes, we know her. It's fine. Get her in.
I know.
Right?
I mean, we sent her all the official things, like sent her the calendar link. She filled out all the information.
Yes.
So just so you guys know, if you want to be on this show, you can, but you got to go through all the proper channels.
Yes.
You got to, tick off all the proper things.
They actually sent me emails. I'm like, why are they sending me this? I'm literally going to see them. It's fine. They are very professional. So it's great. It's great.
Real professional. That's
teaching me. I need this.
Teach me
learn your ways.
Well, just so y'all know, we are all best friends. We work together. We hang out together. We do life with each other. We know a lot about each other, TMI. But it's awesome. So just so y'all know, but this is official. There's so much about Courage we want you to know. Our audience is going to be able to connect so well with you because they're entrepreneur women. These are real life women that are doing day-to-day lives and day-to-day practices, right? And just wanting to be better.
Yeah.
And so this is something that I know y'all are going to really enjoy. So if you're listening right now from podcast or from YouTube, don't forget to subscribe. And everything's in the show notes and also the descriptions. But let's dig right in. Are y'all ready?
I'm ready.
Let's
get into it.
All right, Courage, who in the heck are you? And who do you serve? Give us all the juice.
All the juice. So I am a faith coach, mostly for entrepreneurial women. So it is super dope that I'm on a show that serves those women, right? So I'm a faith coach and I'm everyone's favorite Bible teacher. And I'm not just saying that like I have a big head or anything. That's what they say. So I just let them say it.
Yeah. But it's true. It's true. Raving fans.
Yes.
Everybody's gaining a lot.
Listen, I feel like one of those like old saint people. It's all the glory of the Lord. So I feel like that a little bit. But this is what I realized, right? So this is what I do. I help women to become bolder, more confident, and courageous enough to be who God has called them to be, to do the things that God has called them to do, and to take possession of everything He said they could have. It is so crazy how often I meet women of faith who are entrepreneurs, and they think it's like a mindset thing. It's like, oh, well, if I just knew all the parts, but for the most part, it's a faith thing. Like they don't have the confidence and the courage to show up consistently on camera. I know y'all huge YouTube over here. They don't have the confidence to show up consistently on YouTube or to pitch their idea or to ask for help or collaboration. And it's not that they don't have the skill. They are amazing. It's not that they don't have a desire to serve. It's really that foundation is a lack of faith. Or they have like all these crazy things going on in their real life, like that's not work related. Yes. And because they're struggling in those areas, it's difficult for them to, really get their footing. And so for me, I know that faith is the foundation. It's the thing that's going to help sustain you, and it's going to have you doing crazy things like starting a YouTube channel, like starting a business, like quitting your job. Somebody wants to quit their job and it's like, oh, I don't have all these things. No, what you really lack is faith, and that's cool. But sometimes I feel like it's misdiagnosed. And so I just love helping to connect them with their faith and allowing that faith to build them up so that they can do all these great things in all these different industries that they're in. And so that's what I do.
Well, so I'm sitting here listening to you, right? And I'm just like, wow, have you always been this way? You know, so tell us about like before you got to this place of having so much clarity and so much knowledge on really the things that you need to implement and put in place to have the results, right? That you desire, to be bold and be able to step out and do something courageous. So where were you before you were like here?
You know, honestly, I would have said that I had confidence, right? So I knew there were certain things about me that I knew to be true. Like, I'm smart, right? I did well in school, or like just other skills that I had. I knew that I could do those things. But there still was like this limit, right? Like I could only achieve at a certain level. And I'm not saying I said those things to myself. I'm saying that is the life that I lived. Yes. And at some point it just wasn't enough. I went through a very dark time, right? So I went from like, I was a high school, I was a teen parent. Once a teen parent, always a teen parent. I was pregnant in 9th grade. And so I had a kid by the time I graduated, and I graduated on time, but I graduated on time, not because I had so much like confidence, but because I saw myself as smart, and smart kids graduate from high school. So it was like, even though I might have been pregnant, I was like, but I'm still got the same brain. So obviously I'm going to graduate, right? So that kind of propelled me. But when the storms of life came and I found myself like questioning my self-worth and depressed and dealing with some loss, I was extremely depressed. I hated my life. I was married and I had 3 kids at the time, and I graduated from college. I was teaching, and while I enjoyed teaching, I just felt like I was just miserable. Like, it's so sad. You know what I mean? Like, I was just so over it. And it got so bad that I started to have suicidal thoughts. I'm like, death has got to be, like, I could live for another 80 years is what I would think. And this is going to be it? I'm like, oh, just forget it. Let's die. It's fine. I know the Lord. He'll welcome me home. Like, that's just it. Like, I just was over it. But I was invited to this church, Elevation. Shout out to Pastor Stephen and his wife, Holly Verdict. I know y'all watch the show. I'm just kidding. I don't know what those folks do. But just in case, hey.
Tuning in every Thursday at noon.
Exactly.
You never know who's watching. But I was invited and I went. I wasn't invited once. I was invited like 100 times. And so I finally went. And there was just this glimmer of hope. Like maybe. Not for 100% it could be different, but like maybe my life could be different. Maybe I could have this like great life that I loved, and maybe my marriage could be good, and I could just not hate my life. Like maybe that's a real possibility. And so the way Pastor Stephen would preach, I was like, I just felt like he's so smart. That's how I felt. Maybe I'm not saying he's not smart, but I'm saying that's how I felt. Like, he sounds so smart, and like the way he's talking about the Bible, he seems like a person who really knows God. And like, I'm like, does he talk? He probably do be talking to God. I wonder what they be talking about. Like, I just was very intrigued by what his private prayer and Bible study was. I truly was like really intrigued. Like, I wonder how much time he studies the Bible. I don't know. And then he did this sermon once where he talked about like tithing and giving 10% of your time and your money and your resources to the local church. And I just started thinking, I wonder what it would be like if I gave 10% of my day to God. So I took out my little phone and I calculated. I was like, 2 hours and 24 minutes houseway. Like, I have kids, I have a job. I'm not about to do it. I was like, I'm not doing that. That sounds crazy. But I'll start somewhere. And then like my goal was to get to the 2 hours. And so I studied the Bible, not like my life depended on it, but like because my life depended on it, I studied it. And I had so much like insight into these people's lives, and they were so crazy. And they was way worse than me. They did way worse stuff than I ever did. I was like, I ain't never did that. You know, I've done a lot of stuff in my life, but I never did that. And God was still blessing them. And I just thought, I never saw I'd never been taught the Bible that way. I never had that insight before. And And I was like, I just wanted to apply that to my life. Like, how can I apply this wisdom? And that's where I started to become more confident. And that's where my life started to change. And it surely was not overnight, okay? So don't be like getting your little calculator out thinking like, oh, in 30 days. It wasn't 30 days, nothing. It was over time. But over time, I just, you know, my time in the Word helped to build this confidence that sometimes, honestly, makes other people uncomfortable. When they meet me, they're like, she thinks she all that. I do think I'm all that. And it's because I am, though. Like, I'm a big deal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a big deal, too. And it's, you know, it's not my responsibility to make sure that you feel good in my presence, right? But I'm not going to walk around like I'm not a big deal, because I am a big deal. Right. And so it's just a fact, right? And so that just changes how you show up in life, and it changes what you will go after. And so that's how I got here, like in this mindset. I had to do more than just read the Bible. You know, reading the Bible gave me my identity, helped me to see like who I was and how amazing I am, and the connections that I have. Like, you know, Oprah, cool, I know God, and he literally knows everybody. So that's who I'm name dropping. Alpha and Omega. Do you know that?
Oh my gosh, you are a whole mess. Okay, so we know what you kind of came from and now how you're able to operate in your gifts and your talents. What gave you like the courage or this inclination that you could help other women do these things? Like, that's your whole thing. You help women become bold and confident and really go after what they, you know, they've been called to do. So what gave you this idea that, you know what, I've been through this, I've seen this huge transformation in my life, I'm going to help other women have the same transformation?
This is a crazy question. And I literally, until this very moment, I can't believe you asked me that. I've never even thought about this. But do you know what it is? It's something that I didn't think about. Like, God is so good, man. It's so crazy. Because I was a teacher, right? And I'm just literally connecting this right now, right?
Wow.
Like, it's so crazy. I've never said this before. I'm just saying it. But I know, because I just realized it. It's because I was a teacher, and I taught. And I taught Spanish, and I taught math, and I taught mass media. And I had the ability to take a kid who could not speak any Spanish at all and get them to a place where they could like understand simple sentences, or they could order in Spanish. Like, I could change their experience, right? Through what I taught them. And so for me, I just felt like, if women knew this, right? Like, if they knew this. Good. And so there was no question about whether or not I could teach them, because I've been teaching. Like, I know that it's like my job. That was my craft. Like, okay, I know I could teach. That's what I get paid to do. But if I could teach women this thing about the Bible, then they would be able to do all the things that they needed to do. And it wouldn't matter like what industry they were in. They don't have to be in ministry. They don't have to be in any of that. But if they really knew who they were and who's at work for them, and that the thing that they want to do is so insane. Like, if you know that the way that you were actually put together by God is in a way for you to be successful in the thing that you dream about doing, right? Yeah. I think that we think that because it's our dreams or it's our thoughts that it originates with us. It does not. It was placed there at the time of your making, your preferences, what you love to do, what you have, like what you're naturally good at, the things that you are drawn to. All those things were placed in you because God wants you to be successful. He wants for your life to bear fruit. And like, he comes to bring you joy and all these things. Well, your calling isn't going to be something that you hate to do. There are lots of things. I'm like, I know they're paying for that, but I'm going to be hungry. Like, I don't care. Oh, they going to pay you? It's just cool. I'm going to just fast like Jesus, because I'm not doing it, right? But there's like, you love this thing and it comes natural to you. And God wants you to dominate in that area. But I don't think that women really get that. Not even women who go to church or who consider themselves women of faith. I don't think that they get, God wants to see you succeed at the highest possible level. And not only he wants to see you do it, he's created you to do it. Yeah. He has opportunities for you to do it. He has made a way. He has a space for you. There are all these things with their name on it, right? I just feel like Well, if they knew that,
Yeah.
then they would go out and get it. Like,
Yes.
if you knew that somebody you trusted, okay, Olivia, Amber, I got a lot of money. Okay, I didn't want to tell y'all this. I'm telling y'all this on the show. And so I want you guys to, I know the kind of car that you want. I want you to go to that lot. I actually don't know if it's a G-Wagon or a Tesla these days. I can't keep up with y'all. But at any rate, just let me know where you want to go. Go down there, pick out a car, say my name, and you will be able to drive off the lot with it. But you have to leave from this place. You have to go there. Because of our relationship, you know I wouldn't set you up like that. You know I wouldn't lie to you. And it doesn't matter how huge this thing is. You would just get in your car and go and get it. Because you're like, well, I trust Courage. I know how I'm going to go get it.
Ooh,
right?
You about to lay it on them.
You understand what I'm saying? If you really knew and loved God and you knew that God loved you, then you would do the same thing. Like, you would trust that he has all these great opportunities for you and that he wants the best for you. He does not want you to kind of live a life that's mediocre. And my best and my heart's desires may not be yours. I have a friend all the time that's like, she doesn't want a luxury lifestyle. Cool. The Lord don't want her to have a luxury lifestyle because that ain't what she wants. But I'm trying to have a private jet, okay? So I want luxury travel, and I want alpacas. So, you know,
make room for them on the jet.
Make room for them on the. They're so cute. Do you think it would make them nervous? I don't know. Maybe I have to find a babysitter for the alpacas, but
probably.
I just felt like if women knew, if they really knew, not like we say we know something, we lie. But if they really knew, then they
or believed, even believed.
Yes.
I think sometimes they might know stuff, you know, or we might know stuff, but it's like, do you really truly believe it?
Yeah.
That is, I think that's where it has to come from. And if you really truly believe it, are you willing to walk it out? Because, you know, that brings me to your book.
Yes.
You're an author and you have this amazing book. It's called Power Principles for Courageous Living.
Yes.
And you brought together these principles that you live by. Can you give us those principles and what made you kind of come up with those?
It's crazy. I didn't come up with them. Like, when I got to the other side and I recognized, like, you know what? I do not hate my life. This is so weird.
Like, I really don't.
I actually don't hate it here. I feel like happy and optimistic. Like, wow.
Love it. Yeah.
How'd I get here? And so I started thinking, like, okay, I remember a time where I wanted to die. How did I get to a place where I absolutely love my life? And I just started thinking
Don't
about
just
it.
brush over that. You literally just dropped a bomb right now. And they're
Yes.
listening. This viewer's like, what did you just say?
Yeah, actually wanted to die. Like, there was an entire season where I would cry myself to sleep and I would be like, oh, I think I might cry a little bit. I'd be like, please don't let me wake up in the morning. Like, please, please, please. Like, you know, if I could just die in my sleep, you know, that would be great. And then I would wake up and I would be like, so you can't even do that. Great God. Awesome. Everybody's singing you're so awesome, but you couldn't even, people are dying every day. But here I am waking up. You know, it was just like, depression is so heavy. It's like anybody who has been depressed or who's dealing with it now, it is like physically heavy. And it takes so much to just like do regular stuff. Even faking like you're okay is exhausting, which is why we want to isolate ourselves, because pretending like I'm okay for you, like, I even got that kind of energy, so I just don't want to see you. It's fine. To the point of like leaving my house, planning on walking in front of traffic. Olivia actually saved my life. She's like my hero, not like actually is. I don't even know how she found me. Right? I left the house, I left my keys, I left my phone, and I was like, this is the day. I was like, this is it. I literally, like, this is it. And then I was just sitting in a parking lot, like, thinking, okay, where am I gonna go? Because I want to make sure they're gonna hit me hard enough and, like, they're gonna be going fast enough that I actually die. So I had, like, this whole fun. I'm laughing, but it's like, I'm laughing because, like, do you understand how long you have to believe the lies to get to a place where you would rather die a death like that than live. And it's not like people are like, oh, it's so selfish. It's not. By the time you are ready to walk into oncoming traffic, you are doing your family and your friends a favor.
Yeah.
Like, I am releasing you from being tied to me and all of my, sadness and all of my depression, so that you don't have to have a friend who is depressed, and you don't have to have a mom who's depressed. You don't have to have a wife that's depressed. It's not like, oh, I don't care about them. It's really in your mind.
Yeah.
It's a kindness. Like, first of all, I suck as a human. The least I could do for you is to rid you of me, right? And this is like the best way that I can do it. And so just to think about how deep and how dark and how sad and how alone a person has to get to where they feel like that. And it's not because they don't have people that love them. It's just like, you are so far into this hole. Even if people are like throwing love at you, it can't reach you. Like, you are so deep. It's not because people don't love you. It's not because people are ignoring you. Like, that's not it. It's just that you are so far gone into like this deep, dark abyss that whatever the love is they're throwing, whatever they're saying, all these, things they're trying to throw at you, you can't even see it. You can't even receive it. And so I went from that to like loving my life and smiling, and not like, I used to be annoyed when people laughed. I'd be like, why is she laughing? Life is not that great, girl. Stop it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'd be so annoyed with people smile. Hey, Courage. I'd be like, oh, shut up, freaking idiot, right? Like, I'd just be so annoyed. But to go from that place to like where I was the person that was like, good morning, guys. I'm like, wait a second. Now I'm one of those people. I'm like, but I really am happy. Like, it's really great. Like, how did I get here? And I started to think about that. Like, how did I get here? And what I realized is that my time in the Bible showed me my true identity. And so that's principle number one. You are who God says you are. Some point in my life, I had started accepting like labels that other people put on me. I picked up my own labels based on my experiences, things that went well, things that didn't go well, things I did to people, like, oh, I'm a horrible person. And then I became all of my worst traits, all of my worst experiences. But being in the Word reminded me, like, no matter what I've done or what's been done to me, I'm exactly who God says I am. And that just changes your posture. It changes like your level of confidence and even your love for yourself. Then I had people that I needed to forgive in order to move on. I needed to forgive people that actually did me wrong, right? And from their own place of brokenness, I needed to forgive myself, because during the time of depression, I didn't take care of my kids well. I'm so grateful for my husband. Even though I wasn't necessarily loving and appreciating him at that time, he had to take care of them because they still alive. They ate, and I know I didn't feed them. You know what I'm saying? So like, just that thing, like the guilt from not being there and from not being present. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive all these other things so that I could start the healing process. You cannot heal until you forgive. And so principle number 2 is forgiveness is freedom. The minute that I forgive you, like, it starts me to a place where I can let go of what you did. I didn't even care why you did it, right? Like, that's not my business. That's between you and the Lord. But I'm going to forgive you. Doesn't mean that I have to want to be in your space. Doesn't mean that I still don't feel the pain. It's just saying I am releasing myself from the bitterness of what happened before so that I can move forward, you know? Then I realized I had to put my faith to work. And so that's power principle number 3. Your faith has got to get a job, okay? It's not enough for it to be like sitting on the shelf. It's like so cute, church on Sunday. No, you got to go to work. You going to live here? You got work, right? You have got to send your faith to work. It should move you, compel you, have an impact on what you do. And I know people love to say things like, well, as long as I have faith the size of a mustard seed. Yeah, but sis, are you moving any mountains though?
Yeah.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay. Well, then you don't even have faith the size of a mustard seed. People, oh, it's just, you don't have to have a ton of faith. No, but faith the size of a mustard seed is extraordinary faith. To be able to look at a mountain and say, hey, get up and move. That is extraordinary faith. And so if you are not able to speak to the things in your life and move like you believe they're going to happen, you got to put your faith to work, right? You got to grow and build that faith. then I wouldn't have gotten to where I am if I didn't have great friends, right? I talked about Olivia coming, and she didn't just come that one time. It wasn't like a one-time thing. She was kind of low-key annoying. She'd be like, you need to get out of the house. What are you doing? I'm coming to get you. I'd be like, yeah, I don't need to be bothered. But when you can't support yourself and you need that extra push, that extra boost, you need somebody to remind you who you are, those relationships are going to be the things that sustain you in a difficult time, right? If you think about a life jacket, it's super important when you can no longer swim, when things are too tough for you, when you need to rest, right? And so positive relationships help to keep you afloat when you can't do it yourself. Relationships with other people, your relationships with your words. What are you saying out of your mouth every day? Are we like giving into this complaint culture, or are we speaking what we want to see? And are you taking care of yourself? Sleeping when you need to sleep, eating when you need to eat, crying. Y'all know I love a good, I'm crying later tonight, so I'll talk to y'all later. I gotta cry at 7 o'clock. Crying when you need, like taking a shower. Crying when you need to cry. Are you taking care of yourself, setting good boundaries, because that's going to help you along the way. And then last but certainly not least, I think it might be my favorite one though, is that growth is not optional, it's required.
Yes.
I love people, and I love people who love the Lord and stuff. I really do. One of the things that I hear a lot though is like people just waiting on God, and you're not waiting on the Lord. The Lord is waiting on you. Okay. And part of that problem is that we don't know things, and we're just like okay with not knowing them. Well, you have to know that if you want to get to the next level in your life, if you want to get to the next level in your business, in your mental health, physical health, there are things that you don't know now that you need to know. Right. And so that requires learning, and learning is how we grow, right? But it's hard to ask for help, to invest in help, to hire a coach, to get a therapist, to get a personal trainer, when you believe your current situation defines your identity. That's why that identity piece has got to come first. Because if I know that I'm dope, like right out the gate, then my dopeness isn't changed because I need to ask for help, or because I need to get coaching, or I don't know how to do something. I'm not any less amazing because I'm like, I don't know I don't know how to do that. I say that all the time to y'all. I'm like, no, I don't know how to do that. Like, you don't know it's easy? No, I don't know. It's not easy. So somebody can help me. That would be great. So like, you have to be open to that, and not just open to it, but intentional about growing. And those things, like those principles are the principles that I live my life by. Y'all know I'm always learning something. Always learning something. Yes. I stay forgiving somebody. I'm like, you know what? Let that go. Okay, just gonna let it go, because I don't have time for the slowing down of like being mad at you and holding a grudge. I have retired. I've resigned. Oh, I see that face. Woo! I used to hold a crown, but I have, what do you call it? I know you watch that show, like when you get rid of the crown, you're like, I don't want it anymore.
I want to say resign, but that's not it.
It's not resign. It's like something.
I don't know.
It's a word. Y'all can tell us about it, but it's a word.
Drop it in the comments.
Yeah. Where you're like, I don't want the crown. Renounce the throne. Oh. Yes, that's what I did, of grudges, because I was queen of the grudges. I was excellent at it. I could hold a grudge forever. I did not feel any type of way. It was wonderful. I took joy and pleasure in it. But I have since retired, because it doesn't serve you. Like, it just doesn't serve me in the life I'm trying to get to. So I'm like, I forgive you before you even do something. I'm like, it's fine. But if they do that, it'll be fine. It's just let it go. It's not a big deal. Just move on. It's just not worth it, right? So I live my life by these principles right now. It's not like I did them and it was like a cute little thing. It's a lifestyle. This is the life that I live.
Yes. Know? Well, I hope that y'all had a notepad, because all the things that Courage just listed out, we will drop some of those below. But if for some reason you still cannot find that and you're like, what was it again? I just want to talk and hear from Courage. Well, that's one of the things we want to share with you right now, is how can you actually get connected to Courage? What can you do to really kind of gain what she's learned, right? Get to this place of, I am feeling the same way she was. I didn't have these resources. I didn't know where to go from there. What do I do now? So we want you as a listener to go ahead and just take action on that. So Courage, where can everybody connect with you and find you to really kind of better themselves, right? To learn how to even study the Bible. Like, tell us a little bit more about that, of how to get connected and move forward.
Well, come to the website, right? CourageMolina.org. All things Courage Molina are there.
Right.
The podcast, the YouTube channel, the book, the merch.
Yes.
Plugging all the things, right? CourageMolina.org. And I know, like, people are, I go to Bible study and I go to church. Great. This is the question, though. This is the thing, right? This could scratch my neck a little bit. This is the question. Of all your time in the Bible and at church, and this is just like a little assessment, how has it changed you, right? Are you moving differently? Do you believe differently about your marriage, about your health, about your business? Are you investing in the things that you truly want, or are you shrinking, right? Are you dominating in the area? Are you living out your purpose? Are you living the life that you want to live? And if you're not on a journey to do that, you can say it's a lot of things. You can say it's because you don't have money, because you don't have connections. You can say it's because of all of those things. But ask yourself, how has faith, like your faith, changed your life? Write it down. You can't write something down? Please come to the Bible study. Okay. I'm trying to tell you. Because it's got to be about like applying this word so that I can change my life. So that, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and invest. How much money? Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I can invest it. You know why? Because I'm a child of the Most High God, child. So the Lord is going to make a way. I'm just going to go ahead and do it because I know I was made for this, you know? Yes. So definitely come to the Bible study. It's live. It's Zoom. Women from all over the world. I love saying that because I used to write that.
Because it really is.
Yeah, and I used to write it as an affirmation. I'd be like, I'm the most effective and engaging Bible teacher on the planet, teaching women of faith from all across the globe. And so now when I log on and I'm like, let me know where you're from. And they're like, Bangkok, Zambia, St. Lucia. I'm like, it's like a real thing now. Like it's for real. It's insane. So yeah, check us out, CourageMolina.org. Yes. You want to get connected. It is not your grandma's Bible study. That's what they say. They call me the Holy Ghost hypestress. Snatching edges and saving lives one scripture at a time. Like somebody put that in the chat. I was like, oh, I need that. That's good. I like that. Holy Ghost hypestress. Yes. So
I love that. Well, and the thing that I love so much about Courage is that she really implements what she talks about and what she teaches. And, you know, these are things that she's put in place and that you're actually doing on a daily basis. Because you've seen the result with it, right? And you're continuing to grow and to learn and to dig deep. And so I love that you even relate it to, like, I love teaching women because I was a teacher. Like, I have that. Like, I brought a child from not knowing any English or not knowing Spanish. Not knowing Spanish to now being able to like order a meal in Spanish, right?
It's crazy.
And feel confident in that. And you're like, I saw that result happen. I can help you.
I can use these same principles.
And bam, bring them right here.
Absolutely.
Well, you're an amazing business owner. You're an entrepreneur, right? Yes. It always hasn't been your life. So how are things right now, right? Where will you say you're feeling right now in this moment?
I feel so amazing right now, actually. I feel like, dang, this is my real life. I cry a lot. Like, something great happened, I'm crying. Something bad happened, I'm crying. I'm mad, I'm crying. Like, crying is like, it's just on auto, right? But there are days where I literally start crying because I feel like I remember praying for this life. I remember praying for my marriage to be different. I remember praying for my business to be different. I wanted to be able to contribute financially to the household in a meaningful and significant way, right? I started saying things like, oh, I want to retire my husband. I haven't quite retired him. And, you know, he'll probably still work. God help us.
It's close.
But it's like, he could legit, like, it's happening. So my life is amazing. I absolutely love my life. And there was a time where I might have been like, well, it's okay. Or it's still, no, it's good. It's amazing. Check, somebody write that down.
I love it.
It's so good. Great friends, work that I love to do. I create my own schedule. I only teach what I absolutely love. I don't have to chase things. I used to chase and do things out of like desperation and set my prices at, because I was like, oh, I need this money, so I got to do this. Now I'm like, this is the price.
Take it or leave it.
Are you in? Would you like for me to send an invoice, or do you want to do it over the phone? Oh no. Oh, okay, cool. And there was a time where I was so sad and so desperate. Like, if I don't make this sale, I don't know what's gonna happen. That's not it anymore. And I want other women to know that this is possible and they can get here. And I'm just getting started. Like, me and the Lord, we ain't even did nothing yet. This is just the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The best thing that you just said is that you're not in a desperate place anymore for the business. I feel as though all of us being entrepreneurs, you can get in that mindset.
Oh, yeah.
So
you
easy.
can get trapped and go like, if I don't do this, this is it. Oh my gosh, well, am I even supposed to do this? You question it your whole life in a matter of one call.
Yeah.
And so instead of being faithful, and doing what you've actually been called to do, and you're able to do it and do it well. I think that's another reason people have got to connect with you, right?
Yeah,
because that is a missing piece when it comes to this type of life that we live as entrepreneurs.
Because you need, I mean, it's hard enough, so you need something. You need something. And, you know, having a good Bible teacher, being plugged in, having the resources is, you know, you have to have that. Like,
absolutely.
You have to.
Let me just say this real quick. Like, I want to make this real clear, right? Having a great Bible teacher is not just about like me breaking it down. It's about you consuming and understanding the word in a way that draws you closer to God. Where now it's like the relationship that you have with God is closer. It's more intimate. You trust him because of how you study the Bible. It's not about like you always coming to me and me teaching you everything all the time and you feel like you can't get a prayer through. It's like, okay, I understand the Lord is actually speaking to me. Say your name, drop your name in the chat. He knows you by name. I can go to him and have a conversation. I think that getting to know God happens through the study of his word. And so having a Bible teacher that will help to facilitate that relationship and lead you to a way where you can apply that word, I think that is really the game changer, right? Like that's the real game changer. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
Right there, enough said. Y'all go connect right now. Go to couragemolina.org. Go check out the show notes in the description as well. You'll find all of Courage's direct links, so you won't miss out on anything, and you can do it right now after you hang up and listen to this. So thank you so much for tuning in with us. It is Thursday at noon. It is a show that's an episode that's always released. So thank you so much, and we cannot wait to see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.